And like, I respect him so much for addressing the opposing side, as we want to call it. But I agree with you, Bree. I really feel like Ken has a major platform now with his social media having grown substantially.
If I can just share my perspective and somebody can understand, then that's the entire point. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind.
Right.
You know, if that happens, then great. You know, but my goal is not to bring you over to my side. It's just to explain to you why I'm on this side.
And so I think that given the right time, the right space, the right opportunities that come his way to share his story of how we met, how our relationship is going, all of those details that he wants to share with people and in a sense show them the light or the truth, he will be able to.
You've probably seen Gypsy playing the lovey-dovey role on social media, but let's not be fooled. Behind that sweet facade, there's a whole lot more going on. Word on the street is Ken is getting fed up with Gypsy's controlling ways. Yes, you heard that right. In their recent lives, Gypsy has been dropping some not so subtle hints about her need to control every little thing Ken does, and the poor guy seems to be reaching his limit. We're not just talking about some random speculations here. So, get your popcorn ready because we're about to spill all the juicy details on how Gypsy's behavior might be pushing Ken to the edge. Is this the beginning of the end for this couple? Let's break it all down and find out what's really going on behind the scenes. Gypsy has been acting a bit too extra lately, and it's not going unnoticed. In one of her lives, she casually mentioned how she was monitoring Ken's interactions on social media. Yes, you heard that right. Monitoring.
So I feel like it was very because I watched the first time that Ken went on Morbid's live, and I watched the whole thing. I was there. I heard how well he handled himself. And I respect him so much for addressing the opposing side, as we want to call it. But I agree with you, Bree. I really feel like Ken has a major platform now with his social media having grown substantially.
It's one thing to be a little curious about your partner's social media activity, but Gypsy is taking it to a whole new level. It's almost like she's treating Ken more like a possession than a person. Then there's a whole cooking incident. In a video, Gypsy decided to cook for Ken for the first time ever and made a huge deal about it. She acted like it was this grand gesture, but the way she framed it was a bit telling.
Hey everybody! So tonight I am cooking dinner for Ken. This is the first time that I will be cooking a dinner for him. Usually he's the one that's always cooking for me. So he is at work right now and he does not know that I am planning this romantic dinner tonight.
Gypsy made it seem like she was doing Ken a big favor, almost as if he should be grateful that she's finally stepping into the kitchen. It wasn't just a sweet moment, it came off as a calculated move to show her effort in the relationship while subtly implying that she controls how and when she decides to contribute. Well, Ken came home and she proudly presented the meal to him. He didn't seem to be thrilled at all. Sure, he smiled and thanked her, but it was a tired, almost forced smile. When Gypsy put the camera in his face to capture his reaction, you could see the discomfort. He gave a polite, but the enthusiasm was clearly lacking. It wasn't just about spaghetti. It was about being put on the spot, expected to perform for her audience once again. It was as if he was thinking, can we just have a normal dinner without it being a show for your followers?
Okay, so I just got home from work and Gypsy surprised me with her famous spaghetti here. This is the first time she's ever cooked for me, so I'm excited to try her cooking. It's really hot though. It's very good.
Good.
Very good.
Good. Okay, I'm
10 out of 10.
And let's not forget how she manages to put Ken in the spotlight in her lives, controlling the narrative.
Everybody wants to know what that D is.
Can we just get past that question? That's your tagline.
Okay, then we need to give you a tagline. I say it's hotter than the sun, so it's hotter than fire.
Oh my god.
So can we just start calling him Sunny D?
I'm leaving.
Come back!
It was painfully obvious how uncomfortable Ken was. She was steering the talk, making sure that Ken's responses aligned with her own storyline. At one point, Ken even looked hesitant to speak up, as if he knew stepping out of the line would cause some tension later. It's these small but significant moments that paint a clear picture of Gypsy's need for control. She might be trying to present this picture of perfect image to her audience, but the cracks are showing. Ken is no longer looking like happy-go-lucky boyfriend who's just thrilled to be there. You can sense the unease, the growing frustration in his demeanor, like he's walking on eggshells around her. And let's be real, how long can anyone put up with that kind of control?
And so I think that given the right time, the right space, the right opportunities that come his way to share his story of how we met, how our relationship is going, all of those details that he wants to share with people and in a sense show them the light or the truth, he will be able to. Right now it's just a complicated space and time and area right now, and I know how frustrating that could be, but just give it time and the right opportunities will come your way.
Yeah, I respect like the fact that you are willing to go against opposing arguments, like that it's not easy all the time. Like you do, like you said, you have to have thick skin and they're gonna say things and you have to be able to just push through that. And so I don't want you to ever think that I'm saying don't argue with opposing views at all. I just know that what you have to say matters. And I feel like there are people that are on the opposing side that are willing to and will listen to you. And I just think that in some spaces, less than others. And so I hope that you get the opportunity to speak on other people's platforms that have opposing views. That's really what I'm saying. I'm not saying like, oh my God, never go over there again. I'm saying that I feel like there are other spaces that oppose, that are on the opposing side that I think that your voice could be very powerful.
Ken's frustration with Gypsy's behavior has been bubbling to the surface, and it's becoming more apparent in their interactions. For a while, he played along with Gypsy's controlling tendencies, perhaps hoping it was just a phase or that things would calm down. But now, it seems like he's had enough. Let's dive into some moments that really highlight Ken's reaching his breaking point. One of the more telling signs came during a live session on Bree's channel. If you watched closely, you could see Ken's patience starting to fray. Gypsy was her usual self, directing the conversation constantly, interrupting Ken and speaking over him.
Who offer you a space that are on the opposing side to also go there too, because I feel like there's a bigger space out there. There's more spaces out there with people that will probably be more receptive,
Can I add to that?
I totally understand.
Yeah, Gypsy, go ahead.
There was this particular moment when she was talking about their future plans. She went about on how she had everything planned out, saying he tried to keep a straight face, but there was a noticeable eye roll. It was a quick flash of frustration, almost as if he couldn't hold it any longer. He looked like someone who's been told one too many times how things are going to be done without having to say anything in it. Ken's patience seems to be wearing thin as Gypsy's controlling behavior intensifies, seems to have pushed Ken to a breaking point. It's clear that he's no longer willing to play along with this narrative, especially when it compromises his own sense of self.
And that's all that I ever tried to show, I guess, is that, you guys might think of Gypsy in this way because you've seen X, Y, and Z, but I know her on a much deeper level because I'm around her every day. And, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, people might be opposing or they may not agree at all, but if I can just share my perspective and somebody can understand, then that's the entire point. I'm not trying to change anyone's mind.
Right.
If that happens, then great. But my goal is not to bring you over to my side. It's just to explain to you why I'm on this side.
Ken has been noticeably more distant and less enthusiastic, indicating he might be reevaluating his place in this relationship. The constant surveillance, emotional manipulation, and public humiliation have likely taken a toll on him. Ken appears to be reaching a point where he's questioning whether staying with Gypsy is worth the constant control and emotional drain. It's that evident that Gypsy's relentless need for control and validation has pushed Ken to the edge. He's likely contemplating his next steps, considering whether he can continue in a relationship that seems to be more about Gypsy's control than mutual respect and understanding. This could very well be the beginning of the end for their turbulent relationship. With Ken visibly pulling away and Gypsy controlling behavior intensifying, It seems their relationship is on the brink of collapse. Ken's growing resistance to Gypsy's tactics shows that he has finally had enough. The dynamics between them have shifted from a loving partnership to a power struggle, with Gypsy's demand pushing Ken to his breaking point. Whether or not they officially call it quits, it's clear that this relationship is far from the fairy tale Gypsy portrays. The real question now is, how long will Ken endure before making a definitive break from Gypsy's control? So what do you think? Is this the end for Ken and Gypsy, or is there more drama to come? It's clear that Ken is reaching his breaking point with Gypsy's controlling behavior. We've seen the cracks forming. It's only a matter of time before things crumble completely. If there is one thing we know about Gypsy, it's that she won't let go without a fight. But will Ken stand his ground this time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates on this ongoing saga. Until next time, stay curious and keep spilling the tea.